Dogs performed surgery in ancient Babylon, and it saved lives. I know that sounds completely insane, but 4,000 years ago, when you were dying from infected wounds, there was one goddess who could save you. Her name was Gula, and her divine surgeons were packs of sacred dogs who would lick your open wounds clean. This should have killed every patient. Instead, it cured them. And modern science has finally figured out why this impossible treatment actually worked. But first, you need to understand the nightmare these people lived in. Ancient Mesopotamia wasn't just dangerous, it was locked in an eternal war against invisible enemies that made every day a fight for survival. These weren't human armies, they were demonic plagues with names that still send chills down archaeologists' spines. Meet Lamashtu, the child-killing demon who murdered newborns in their sleep. Pazuzu, the fever-bringer who could drop you dead with a single breath. Here's what will blow your mind. 47 different plague demons were catalogued in Mesopotamian texts. 47, each one designed to torture humanity in a specific way. To these people, disease wasn't biology, it was warfare. When you got sick, it meant the gods had abandoned you to these creatures of chaos. And your chances of survival? Let me put this in perspective. A simple cut had a 30% chance of killing you. Childbirth? Russian roulette, with worse odds. But here's where it gets interesting. While everyone else was surrendering to the demons, one goddess was preparing to flip the entire game.
Forget everything you think you know about ancient medicine. Gula wasn't sitting around accepting offerings and ignoring prayers. She was building the ancient world's most revolutionary medical empire. Her headquarters? A massive 200-room temple complex at Isin that made modern hospitals look primitive. Her staff? Hundreds of trained priest-doctors who studied healing arts for decades. But here's what will make your jaw drop. While other cultures were sacrificing animals to their gods, Gula did something that seemed absolutely insane. She turned dogs into living medical equipment. The Mesopotamians called her Bao, the Dogmother. And I'm not talking about a few temple pets wandering around. Archaeological evidence shows over 300 dog skeletons buried with full ceremonial honors at her temples. These were elite medical professionals with 4 legs and supernatural healing powers. But wait, it gets crazier. These dogs weren't random strays. They were specifically bred for medical work, trained from puppies, and treated like divine royalty. While other civilizations were figuring out basic agriculture, Gula's cult was running the world's first veterinary medical school. Now comes the moment that will blow your mind. And this isn't legend, this is documented history. Picture this scene that played out thousands of times. A desperate farmer from Uruk staggers into Gula's temple at Isin. His right arm is black with infection from a farming accident. He's been walking for 12 days, spending his family's entire life savings on this final gamble. The fever is cooking his brain. This is literally his last shot before death. The priests examine him and make a decision that would make modern doctors lose their minds. They don't pull out ceremonial knives or burning herbs. Instead, they lead him to a sacred chamber and open a gate. Out comes a pack of temple dogs. Here's the moment of total insanity. The patient, following centuries of tradition, lies down on a stone altar, and he lets these dogs, these divine surgeons, systematically lick his infected wounds completely clean. I know what you're thinking. This should have given him rabies, sepsis, and 20 other infections. This should have killed him in hours. But here's the impossible part. More often than not, he walked out completely cured within days.
So how did this medically impossible treatment actually work? Modern science spent decades figuring this out, and the answer will make you respect our ancestors in a completely new way. But here's what's truly mind-blowing. Gula's cult wasn't just stumbling around with lucky guesses, they were ruthlessly scientific in ways that would make modern researchers jealous. Dog saliva isn't just spit, it's a biological weapon against bacteria. We're talking lysozyme, lactoferrin, and immunoglobulin A. These are natural antibiotics so powerful that we're still studying them today. But here's where Gula's people were pure genius. They discovered that different dogs produced different healing compounds. Archaeological analysis shows they were breeding specialized medical dogs for specific types of wounds. Some for infected cuts, others for burns, others for skin diseases. These weren't just dogs, they were living, breathing antibiotic factories with 4,000 years of selective breeding behind them. But the real masterstroke wasn't biological, it was psychological. While the dog's saliva was literally fighting infection at the cellular level, something even more powerful was happening in the patient's mind. Think about it. Instead of feeling helpless against invisible demons, patients were receiving tangible, physical intervention from divine emissaries. The placebo effect wasn't just helping, it was going absolutely nuclear. Modern studies show that hope and faith can literally rewire your immune system. Gula figured this out 2,000 years before we did. But this was never just about healing individual patients. Gula was waging total war against the entire pantheon of death and disease, and she was winning. Every person her dog saved was a soul stolen directly from Ereshkigal, goddess of the underworld. Every infection cured was a victory against Lamashtu's child-killing rampage. Every fever broken was basically giving the middle finger to Pazuzu himself. The numbers are staggering. For over 1,200 years, Gula's temple network operated across 23 major cities. Her dogs saved hundreds of thousands of lives using a treatment so advanced that we're only now understanding why it worked. She didn't just build hospitals, she built an ancient medical empire that lasted longer than the Roman Empire.
Today we have antibiotics, surgery, and modern medicine. But we've also lost something powerful, the understanding that healing involves both body and spirit, science and faith. Gula mastered this 4,000 years before we figured it out. So the next time someone tells you ancient people were primitive, remember the Dogmother of Babylon. Remember the goddess who turned man's best friend into humanity's greatest healer. Remember that sometimes the most revolutionary ideas come from the most unexpected places. What other ancient crazy practices do you think might have actually been genius? Drop your theories in the comments below. And if this story absolutely blew your mind like it blew mine, smash that like button and subscribe for more untold history that will change how you see the ancient world forever.